Well, this weekend, the Pentagon, among others, remain on high alert for a possible North Korean nuclear test. There are signs it could be imminent. And the news comes as joint U.S.-South Korean war games continue on the Korean Peninsula. And experts warn we may be closer than ever to a point where a war of words turns into a real war. Let's bring in Dean Cheng, senior fellow with the Heritage Foundation's Davis Institute. So we've seen this before. We've seen nuclear tests before. We've seen missile tests before. We've seen all the rhetoric from Pyongyang. The question is, at what point are they going to do something that the United States and South Korea is forced to respond to with something other than words?
This is a country that basically sank a South Korean frigate without warning, shelled South Korean territory, at one point blew up the entire South Korean cabinet. I think it's very difficult to predict at what point they will do something that goes totally beyond the bounds of acceptable behavior.
What is their game here? If the game is simply regime survival, why keep poking the proverbial bear that is the United States military?
Well, in the first place, past pokes haven't led to any reaction.
Do they want a reaction at some point? Do they need it? Does he need that kind of, does he need that to improve his standing with his own people?
That certainly doesn't hurt, but I think part of it also is keeping the Americans at arm's length. I mean, this is your classic madman theory. If I'm willing to do this just on a random Tuesday morning, imagine how I might react if you actually came back at me. So stay far away from me or else.
Well, and we all know that anytime Kim Jong-un is anywhere, there's not a lot of people far for him. We have this picture that we found, and this struck us as, shall we say, unusual. Was this a choreographed, a impromptu piggyback ride, or is there something else going on here from a guy who has purged so many people, even relatives around him?
This is a man who has ordered the execution of close partners and even family members with anti-aircraft cannons.
So you don't just jump on him for a piggyback ride?
It'd be really risky.
So what's the message this picture's trying to send? If everything's choreographed, why put something like that out?
I think the message there is, look, we had this great accomplishment, and even senior military and political leaders around Kim Jong-un are just delighted. Look at what we've achieved.
Look at how happy we are. I'm so happy I'll give you a piggyback ride.
Yep.
That's one way to show, I guess, appreciation to your military. So where does this go from here? We have the U.S.-South Korean war games sort of continuing for the next couple of months. We've had this rhetoric from the U.S. Secretary of State, who at least sort of made an overture that there could be U.S. military action. Do we get to that point, or does everybody walk away and decide to fight another day?
Well, actually, the administration has already demonstrated greater resolve. It has cut off North Korea's banks from the global financial system. This is hitting North Korea, and particularly the Kim family, where it hurts. And that was just about the same time that Secretary of State Tillerson said, everything's on the table. So we're actually seeing more sanctions and more moves being put in place.
Does that increase the chance that they, for lack of a better term, go nuclear? Or does that mean that the Kim family goes, maybe we're not going to take this guy on?
When you hurt the guy in his pocketbook, I think that you are really forcing them to consider, if things keep going down this path, you're really not going to be left with anything at all.
And we keep hearing, from at least from the administration and our sources there, that they're willing to continue to twist the thumb screws. Dean, excellent analysis. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Great having you.